I'm Danny, 35 years old, and until about a year ago, I thought I had everything figured out. Martha and I had been together since our college days. We were that couple everyone pointed to and said, now there's a solid relationship. We had our patterns, our little customs. Brunch every Sunday at the cafe down the street, family movie nights with our boy Leo, and those weekend escapes to her parents' lakeside cottage. My job as an insurance analyst wasn't exactly thrilling, but it paid well, and Martha worked part-time at a boutique without any stress. Life was predictable. Stable? Perhaps too stable. I began noticing something before I could really name it. The way she'd linger on her phone at night, scrolling endlessly. The way her sighs became more frequent when I talked about my workday. How she'd just pick at her dinner instead of eating. Her attention drifting when I mentioned weekend plans. I dismissed it all. Our relationship was too established for me to worry about these things. Then Ryan reappeared in town. Ryan, a name I hadn't heard mentioned in forever, but one that sent shockwaves through our marriage the instant it appeared on her phone screen. Initially, it seemed innocent enough. Ryan was her high school sweetheart who continued dating her into the first couple years of college, before Martha and I connected. They shared history, but it was distant history. He'd relocated to Chicago, created some major business enterprise, and now, inexplicably, he was back. And Martha? She was thrilled. She barely glanced up from her phone when she told me, "Oh my God, Danny, Ryan's back in town. He just reached out to me. Can you believe it?" I shrugged. "Yeah, that's cool, I guess." She smiled, catching her lip between her teeth. "I mean, it's been forever. He was such a significant part of my life back then. He's doing incredible now. Started his own business. Always traveling. Just got featured in some magazine. Crazy, right?" I nodded, but something clenched in my gut. That was the first time I sensed it. That change, that moment when someone starts reflecting on their past and wondering if perhaps they should have chosen differently. At first, it was minor things. Ryan's name began appearing more frequently than I felt comfortable with. It was subtle, almost like white noise. Easy to tune out if I wasn't attentive. But soon it became impossible to ignore. Ryan just launched another business. "Can you believe it?" she remarked one evening, glued to her phone at the dinner table. "That's cool," I muttered, taking another bite. "No, like it's really impressive, Danny. He started with nothing, and now he's managing 3 companies. He's all over the business news." God, I always knew he'd accomplished something significant. Something in her tone felt wrong, like admiration wrapped in something deeper. I let it go, but before long his name was everywhere. "You know, Ryan always said I had excellent taste in fashion," she mentioned casually while selecting an outfit for dinner. "Ryan's hosting this charity event downtown next week." "Oh, you probably wouldn't enjoy it, though." One night as I entered the living room, I caught her laughing at her phone. Her fingers danced across the screen, typing something with this subtle smile playing on her lips. "What's funny?" I asked, leaning closer. She turned off the screen so rapidly you'd think it scalded her. "Nothing. Just a meme." "A meme? Really?" But I didn't push it. Maybe I should have. Then the coincidences began. Ryan happened to visit the boutique where she worked. They ran into each other at the supermarket. She casually mentioned grabbing coffee with him, dismissing it like it was insignificant. "Just catching up," she'd say with a shrug. But she never made eye contact when she said it. And that's when I began noticing the subtle shifts in her behavior, how she'd angle her phone screen away slightly when I approached. By the way, her texts with him were always brief when I was around, but I'd notice her typing lengthy messages when she thought I wasn't looking. Once, as we lay in bed, she turned over and I glimpsed her screen illuminating the darkness. A long conversation with his name at the top. She quickly closed the chat before I could read anything. "Who were you texting?" I asked, my voice careful. "No one. Just Sarah." Lying, but I didn't challenge her. Not yet. I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was imagining things that weren't real. She wouldn't cross that boundary. She wouldn't wound me like that. Ryan was just a phantom from her past. Eventually, he'd vanish again. I was mistaken. One evening, as I sat on the sofa flipping through channels, Martha walked in, casually mentioning something that made my stomach knot. Ryan invited us to a dinner party. I looked up. "Us?" "Yeah," she said, adjusting her earrings in the hallway mirror. "He actually thinks you two would get along. He said he respects you for being such a dependable guy." Something about how she phrased it, dependable guy, felt wrong. Like she was already categorizing us differently. Ryan, the successful entrepreneur, the worldly traveler, and me, the dependable guy. I don't know, Martha. I mean, do you really think this is a good idea? She turned, exhaling sharply. Oh my God. Are we really doing this? Danny, Ryan's just being friendly. I swear you're acting so paranoid about this. Paranoid? Like it was my fault for sensing something changing between us. I dropped it. What else could I do? But that was the night I truly started paying attention. It wasn't just the dinner invitation. It was everything preceding it and everything following. The comparisons started subtly. Small comments. Ryan's got this incredible work ethic. It's so inspiring. Ryan's visited, like, 10 countries this year. Imagine having that kind of freedom. You know, Ryan actually listens when people talk. Like he truly focuses. Each remark was a tiny wound. One alone wouldn't hurt. But over time, they accumulated. Then it became less subtle. I just wish you were more, I don't know, ambitious, she said one night while we prepared for bed. I was brushing my teeth and she stood by the dresser, scrolling through her phone. I paused mid-brush, caught her eyes in the mirror. Ambitious? I repeated, trying to sound neutral. She shrugged. I mean, don't you ever want more? More than just this. She gestured vaguely around our bedroom, our home, our life. I work hard, Martha. I know, she said quickly. I just mean, sometimes it feels like you're content to just remain in the same position forever. I rinsed and turned to face her. And that's problematic? She hesitated, then forced a smile. No, of course not. Forget I mentioned anything. But I couldn't because I understood what she meant. Ryan was ambitious. Ryan was exciting. Ryan was always progressing. And me? I was just stationary. It didn't end there. I began noticing how she behaved around him. She dressed more elegantly when she knew she'd encounter him. Form-fitting dresses. Heels she hadn't worn in years. A touch more perfume. Her laugh transformed too. Became higher, more flirtatious. And the worst part? He noticed. I'd catch Ryan observing her a moment too long, his smile lingering just enough to make my hands clench beneath the table, and she absorbed it all. Meanwhile, I started fading away. At home, she was remote, preoccupied. She'd be on her phone until late at night, the screen illuminating her face while I lay beside her, pretending to sleep. At work, I'd catch myself drifting, replaying conversations mentally, questioning if I was losing my sanity or if I was actually losing my wife. Deep inside, I already knew the answer. This wasn't mere nostalgia. This was something more. And it was only intensifying. One night, I couldn't contain it anymore. She arrived home from a quick drink with a friend. But I knew better. The way she checked her phone, the radiance in her expression. It wasn't just any friend. Martha, I don't want you seeing Ryan anymore. My voice was unnaturally composed. She scoffed. Excuse me. You heard me. I don't trust him. And I don't trust whatever this is evolving into. She rolled her eyes. Oh my God, Danny, are we seriously doing this? Ryan is my friend. That's all. I moved closer. You certain? Because it doesn't appear like he just wants friendship. And you're not exactly discouraging him. She released a sharp laugh. You're so insecure. Do you even realize how you sound? You're being ridiculous. You hide your phone. You dress up for him. You talk about him constantly. My patience was threadbare. Tell me, Martha, who's really the issue here? She folded her arms. If you can't handle my friendship with Ryan, maybe you're the problem. That one hurt. I searched for the woman I married. She wasn't present. I didn't argue, didn't quarrel. I just walked past her and went to bed. I didn't reach for her that night or the next. For 2 days, we barely communicated. Then Martha informed me Ryan was hosting another dinner party and that she was attending regardless of my feelings. I almost remained home, but something told me that if I allowed her to go alone, I'd regret it. So I went. The moment we entered, I knew I didn't fit in. The space was filled with people who exuded wealth, expensive timepieces, custom suits, and smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. Martha, conversely, belonged perfectly. She was radiant, clothed in a sleek black dress I'd never seen before, heels that elongated her legs. She looked transformed. Ryan spotted us and grinned. Danny, he called, but his gaze was already fixed on Martha. He strode past me as if I were invisible and embraced her, a prolonged embrace. His hand lingered just a moment too long on her back. She laughed softly, raising her head to meet his eyes. Still not tired of me yet? She teased, her voice light. Intimate. I stood there, observing them, feeling like an intruder in my own marriage. Finally, Ryan turned to me. Glad you could make it, man. He patted my back like we were old buddies. I forced a smile, took my seat, and then I noticed everything. The way Martha inclined toward Ryan when he spoke, how she touched his arm when she laughed, the way he looked at her as if she were the only woman present, and how her face brightened, glowing with something I hadn't witnessed in a long time. My stomach twisted. I clutched my glass so tightly I feared it might shatter. Dinner passed hazily. I barely touched my meal. My ears hummed with the sound of their laughter, their private jokes, their exchanged glances. And then came the moment that finally broke something within me. Someone made a joke about exes, and Martha, with a tipsy giggle, chimed in. I mean, Ryan and I have a healthy friendship, right? It's not strange. It's just mature. Not every guy is so insecure about things like that. The table laughed. My stomach churned. I set down my fork. My jaw tightened. Insecure. My voice emerged sharper than intended. Martha gave me a sideways glance, already irritated. Oh, come on, Danny. It's not my fault. Ryan is bigger than you in every way. Silence. I felt the weight of every stare at that table, a buzzing in my ears. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Someone cleared their throat, but Martha just took another sip of wine, as if she hadn't just eviscerated me before everyone. I exhaled slowly, my grip tightening around my napkin. How long have you been pretending, Martha? I turned to her, my heart pounding. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks an awful lot like you wish you were with him instead of me. Her smile faltered. Her eyes darted around the table, searching for an escape. Ryan cleared his throat. Hey, man, I think you're misinterpreting. No, I interrupted him, standing up. I don't think I am. I grabbed my napkin, tossed it onto my plate. You know what? You two can enjoy your little nostalgia trip. I hope it was worth it. I turned and departed. I didn't wait for her. I didn't even glance back. That was the final time Martha and I shared a home as husband and wife. She returned late expecting a confrontation, perhaps even desiring one. But I didn't provide that satisfaction. I just packed a bag. Danny, can we just discuss this? She asked, arms crossed as she leaned against the bedroom door frame. Discuss what, Martha? I zipped my duffel bag, barely acknowledging her. How you spent the entire night making me feel like an outsider in my own marriage. How you humiliated me in front of Ryan and all his wealthy friends. She groaned, massaging her temples. You're making this a bigger issue than it is. It was just a joke. I turned to her, finally meeting her gaze. Was it? She hesitated, and that was sufficient. I slung the bag over my shoulder and walked past her. You made your decision, Martha. And now I'm making mine. I left. And this time, I truly didn't look back. The divorce was messy. Martha portrayed herself as the victim, framing it as if I were the one who abandoned our marriage. She wept in court, spoke about how deeply she loved Leo, how she merely wanted things to be amicable. But the truth was evident throughout our community. People had observed her behavior with Ryan. They'd heard the whispers from that dinner party, witnessed the way she regarded him, discussed him, measured me against him. But courts don't consider emotional infidelity. They prioritize stability. And as much as it devastated me, she secured custody. I exited that courtroom with finalized divorce papers, limited visitation rights, and a void I hadn't anticipated. Martha, meanwhile, emerged triumphant. But she didn't appear content. Perhaps she expected Ryan would be waiting for her. He wasn't. Ryan moved on swiftly. Some new woman. Probably another conquest for him to pursue before he grew bored and found someone else. Meanwhile, I rented a modest apartment across town. Nothing elaborate. Just enough room for Leo to stay on weekends. I spent numerous nights staring at the ceiling, wondering how I allowed everything to disintegrate. I wondered if she experienced similar thoughts. She reached out occasionally. Danny, I think we should talk. But I never replied. Because here's the truth. I was never the issue. She was simply too preoccupied looking backward to appreciate what was directly before her. Thank you for watching.